So here is where we are so far. The colored one are the parts that is already set up. I will detail that in the first part of the session, and this part is where or what we will work on today. So first thing first, account linking is a way to use or let the user authorize the skill to use their information. And to do that, obviously you can't do that by voice, at least yet. You can't say an email or a password. That will be tricky to catch and handle that. And also regarding the security, it will doesn't seem like a good thing if you have other people around while you are talking to the assistant. So to do that, Alexa allow you to do account linking, and in Voiceflow, this is this block right there, and it's you are using this with the user info. So let's dive in. This one is on the onboarding flow. So I've made an onboarding flow, and what this is doing is let's say welcome the user on the first launch of the skill, and also try to check if the user already authenticate with the skill and their FitBit account. If it's the case, we will have access to the token, and this token is, you can see that as a key that will allow you to use the API or whatever services you are targeting as the user. So the token is an expiring key that the user share with you to allow you to act as him or her. And so the first thing you need to use is the user info block, this one right there, just to check if we do have access to this token. If it's not the case, no access, we will show a card within the Alexa app to ask the user to do the account linking. The account linking will be visible, the link will be visible as soon as the user activates the skill. So if the user activates the skill from the Alexa store, for example, they will be able to see that. They will see that the skill need authentication, and they can do that straight away. That's why it's a good thing to, even if it's the first station, the user may have already give you access to the token. So you may want to handle that. If it's not the case, again, we are sending the card and we are using a speak block to tell the user why and what for, or why we need this information. So for example, here, before going any further, I will ask you to connect to your FitBit account via the Alexa application on your smartphone. It's simple, secure, and you only have to do this once. Go ahead now and say, Alexa, launch FitBit Sleep Coach again when you are ready. Actually, I've changed that. It's my FitBit Sleep Coach right now. So this is something the certification team will ask you to do. You must warn and tell the user why you are doing the account linking and what are you doing to do with the data they allow you to access. So after this message, we're basically exceeding the skill, and the user will launch that again after the authentication, the account linking authentication. So before going further in the skill, let's talk a bit about account linking. In this example, I'm using the FitBit API, and this is available on their website. You can create an account and be a dev on their platform. It's very easy. And the way we are going to use account linking, and that's the case in a lot of projects, is by creating an app, an application within the service you want to target. So here we need to create a FitBit app. So we can, so FitBit can provide us with some, don't want to go here, sorry. So FitBit will provide us with some information we need to set up the account linking. So here, again, this is the account linking block. Here you need some information like the URL authorization, the access token URL, and all OAuth v2.0 will basically works the same. You need a client ID, a secret. Some needs access token expiration. By default is this number. You may not have to change that. In the documentation, you may want to check if we need HTTP basic or credential is in request. And you also have scope most of the time. And scope is basically what you are asking the user to allow you to access. Here, for this project, we want sleep, profile, and heart rate. Let's go back where it's not working. Let's use the register and app instead and close this one. So this is how you should set up the app within the FitBit dev portal. So you give an application a name, description, website, should be your website, organization, etc. Here you have, again, you can check the documentation, but we want to act as the application type should be a server right there. We need a callback URL, and the default access type will be read and write instead of read only, because we may want to update some information. That's pretty much it. Let's go to the one I've already made. So that's how it looks like. It will generate what the URL we need. So authorize token, that's exactly what you need, again, to put right there. ID, secret, everything is in the application. The thing you want to grab from Alexa Developer Console when you do account linking is this thing. Let's edit the application. So this is the callback URL, and this is how Alexa and precisely your skill will get the token. So FitBit will send the information to this URL, and this URL will talk to your skill and share the token, the user token. So this is important. This is the one you want to be sure that's the correct one. Otherwise, you will have an error. And to get this URL, you will first need to upload the project to the Alexa Developer Console. And in the Developer Console, you will go to the Build tab. Let's go right there. And in the Build tab, you will have access to the account linking section. Should be on the left. By the way, they've made some changes here. Just so you are aware of that, the thing is now available in the tool and then account linking. So if you already have set up or start to set up everything right there, this will be populated here, but you can upload the skill once just without anything right there. It's just to get access to the Alexa directory. So the you have 3 URL here. Because Alexa or Amazon use region, and this one is for US. No, this one is for Europe. Sorry, this one is for Japan, and this one is for US. Let's say US, Europe, Japan. Should be there. Should be that. Let's just check to be sure. Yeah, Pitangui is US. So again, you should also be sure that you are targeting the correct URL. You are using the correct URL and the correct endpoint. If you want to do a skill that will be available for Europe and US, for example, you will need, at least with the FitBit, you will need to create an app for the US and an app for the Europe. So once you got the URL, just update that in the application, and you will be good to go. Don't need to update it right there. It's already set. And that's pretty much it, what you want to do on the FitBit portal, on the dev, regarding the application. What you will want to look at is the API doc, which is here. And we are using the web API, because what we want to do is to get user info, and also because we are going to make sleep tracker kind of skill, we want also get information regarding sleep, the sleep data. Okay, let's use easy tool that FitBit share with us. So that's a kind of API preview tool. You authorize that, and then you have access to all the endpoint. Again, what we want here is the sleep mostly. We will use the list one, as you can use a before that, and this will be to grab the last sleep data we have. We will also use the goal one, this one, not the post. Post are for update and image changes. Get is only to grab data. So we will use this one, the goal one. Not sure if I still have access to that. No, authorization is invited. So I will do the authentication here, authorization. This is basically what we are doing with the account linking block. We are doing it manually right there. And these are all scope available. Do you remember when I've talked about the scope right there? We need sleep, profile, and burst rate. Well, actually, we're not using that, but I was thinking of maybe updating the skill with this kind of information. So that's the same: profile, sleep, birth rate, authorize. So I'm already logged, so it should give me access right away. Yeah. Okay. So we are not we now have a token available to do the call to the URL, to the sleep endpoint. And let's go for the goal. Execute. As you can see, we have a token. This is the one we've just get from the authorization. And this is the kind of information you will have. the awake restless percentage, recommend sleep goal, and stuff like that. This is some information we are going to use because what we want to do here is having feedback on the last sleep, so the last night, for example, and do a comparison with what we should do regarding our age. So how much sleep we should get regarding our age. And also, Fitbit will send us back the corresponding wake up time. So the time that we used to wake up in the morning most of the time. So we want to use that to kind of create an optimization, and the coach will then be able to say, okay, because you need as much of time of sleep, and because you also need to wake up at this time in the morning, this should be the time to go to bed. And also, we should allow the user to update that from within the skill, instead of using the Fitbit app to change any value for that. So while I'm speaking, I will update this information in my Fitbit app on my smartphone. So I used to have to go to bed at 3 in the morning. Fitbit say I need 6 hours 45 minutes, and I like to wake up at 9 in the morning. Okay, that has been set in the Alexa app. So the account linking has been made. We've set up everything right there in the account linking card. Then if it's the case, also if we the user authorized the skill, we will have a success right there. And then we start to explain the user a bit more, because if you do remember, we are still on the onboarding flow. So this is the first time the user launched the skill. So let's talk about of what we are going to do. This is your first time, so I will explain to you in a little more detail how I analyze your sleep to give you the best advice. Thanks to your tracker and the data collected every night, I will be able to deduce a profile of your sleeping habit. That's pretty much what I've said before, how we are going to deal with the information. Are you ready to optimize your sleep? We have a yes, we have a no. If it's a no, we are basically exiting the skill. Maybe the user is not ready, or for whatever reason. We should allow the user to just say no. With a little reminder, okay, launch my Fitbit sleep coach next time. So if the user is ready, or if they're ready, sorry, if he or she is ready, we set the onboarding to 1, because in the on flow, we are checking if this onboarding has been done already. So next time, the user will not go to the onboarding flow. That's pretty much the same thing as this session, but in case of the user made 2 sessions but didn't finish the onboarding, for example, say no during the onboarding, instead of using the session to check that, we should be a bit more precise here and use the custom onboarding variable we've created in the project. Let's go back in the onboarding flow to finish the explanation on that. So the user says yes, onboarding to 1, and we make our first API call. And this is for the profile endpoint. Let's go back to profile is. I don't know if it's, no, it's Doesn't look like it's alphabetical order. User profile. There it is. And from this, we will get some information, but that's an easy way to basically get a full name. Right there. So again, from that one, you can get my height, weight. You know me personally right now with all this information, nothing to hide, so don't worry. Yeah, so we can use that for a lot of things, but right now we are just grabbing the full name, just to, that's kind of a way to say to the user, okay, we do have access to your information and we know you right now. Great, full name sounds very official. How do we want me to call you? So that's, instead of saying, okay, I've made a check, I've made an API call, and I should say that, okay, everything is fine, everything is working. It's more, we do that more smoothly, I should say, just by telling the user that we have this information, we have access to this information. That's I don't know how to explain that. Hopefully you get my point here. But yeah, that's a way to reassure the user that it's okay. We now have access to your information. We know how what your name is, but maybe it's like for this example, it's not very official to have everything like full name. How do you want me to call you? And here we are grabbing just the first name. So it's, again, it's just a trick. We don't even use the full name information later in the skill. It's just, for me, it's just make more sense in the combo. So we are using a simple choice block with the first name slots right there. If the user didn't say a first name, or the slot is not filled by a first name, we are setting the first name value to there. So if we exit, because we are at the end of the flow, we are going back here. And if the user don't want to say the name, her or his first name, we will say hi there instead of whatever first name they want to use. So again, that's a way to handle when the user don't say a first name, or a first name is not recognized by the first name slot or intent. And yeah, instead of have nothing, we just put there in there. Let's see how you're doing today. Sleep goal. Second call to the FitBit API. This one is, again, the sleep goal I've shown you before. Let's go back right there. And from that, we are going to grab the recommended sleep goal, typical duration, typical wake up time. So this is something that is interesting. This is not the user. This is not something that the user set. This is something that the FitBit calculate for us. So it's sharing that most of the time I'm waking up at 9:12 in the morning. So that's something interesting for us, because instead of asking at what time do you want to wake up in the morning, we already have access to this information. So we shouldn't ask the user, or yeah, there's no reason to ask the user for this information. You will still be able to add kind of flow to handle any update if the user wants to change that. But for this example, I'm trying to do that in the best way possible to avoid the user to answer a lot of questions. I don't like when you have to answer a lot of stuff to get kind of a profile. I mean, that can make sense, but as we already have access to those information, I don't think we should ask the user for that. So again, we are right there, first call. Here it's a bit more on the intermediate level, as we are not mapping the variable directly, but instead grabbing the full JSON answer in the response. You should be able, of course, you should be able to use as the answer from the API call will look like that. You can, of course, use path and map only this, for example, or this one, and map that to map that path to a variable. But yeah, I'm the kind of guy of always adding some code in there. So not a big deal if you want to grab that straight from the API block. That's I mean, that's a good thing to do. I just used to deal with all the raw data within a code block. So I will share that with you. And the reason why is that we are doing a lot of stuff in there. You can see that we are doing time conversion because again, what we got from the API is this kind of information. So that's minutes, same here. So typical duration, that's number is represents minutes, and we should convert that to something that the user will understand, like hour, minutes, for example. This is exactly what we are doing to do right there, with some tweak here, like if, for example, minute equals 0, we shouldn't say minute within the response we are sending back to the user. So for example, if I need 6 hours of sleep, we should say 6 hours, not 6 hours and 0 minutes. Make no sense to do that. Okay, this little one is just to add a 0. If, for example, the minute is equal to 3 instead of 0.3. Again, it's for the readability is better to have 6 hours and 5 minutes, for example. Alexa will say 6 hours and 5 minutes, but for the user, we used to have the 0, the padding. So yeah, this is a way to handle that. Go JSON, again, that's the full answer from the API. As we are not using variable mapping, we are grabbing what we want from straight from the JSON raw data. So this is exactly what we will do if we use variable mapping in the API block. Response, the path, consistency, and recommended sleep goal. Same for bedtime, wake up time. And then we are setting some stuff right there. We'll go on that a bit later, but basically we are then generating a full convo or dialogue regarding what we got from the user data. So as explained just before, the padding function, we are using that here. We are setting hour to the current date, get hour, adding a 0 if we need that. Same for minute. And the message will be, your recommended sleep goal is, and then we do a conversion from the minute number to something that is more humanly readable. Then we add to this variable, to the message variable, we are adding another thing like another text. at the moment your typical sleep duration is. We do also a time convert from the, again, the goal information we have with a wake up time at, and here we are using a SysML tag. So it's the interpret or say has, and we are using an interpretation as time. So here, if we have 6 and 5, for example, Alexa will say that correctly. And then the last one is a check if we had already set a goal. So for example, right there, goal is something that is existing. So your actual bedtime goal is set at, again, we are using the SSML tag to say that correctly, the time correctly. But the user may have not set any goal already in the application, in the Fitbit application, or on their watch, or whatever tracking device they are using. So we should handle that. And in that case, you don't have any duration of sleep goal set yet. Do you want me to set one right now to the recommended one? So again, that's an easy way and a good way to help the user to better deal with their sleep habit. You don't want to ask the user to go to the app and set some stuff when you can do that for them. And this is what we do. No goal, okay, we have enough information to set that goal for them. So let's do that. And this is basically what we are seeing right there. So goal, we then deal with the information we have and we set the message. That's for the first part of the skill. And that's good because we are at half an hour. The second one that we will now try to update and test that is where we are setting the goal, if the user didn't have one yet, or update the goal regarding the information we have. And the other one is just to make a call to this list of sleep and grab the last one and then just do a debug from that. So we have the last sleep information. This is something we can also use. I mean, the user will not always have access to the device. So maybe they want simply to ask the scale, the last log of the sleep, for example. And we should allow the user to do that because, again, we have access to this information, so why not? All right, let's actually upload that once again, just to be sure we are on the last version right there. And I will show you the account linking stuff. I will not do that on the Alexa app, but instead I will do that in the alexa.amazon.com website. So this is a light version of what you can do in the Alexa app, but well, it's allow you to link to do account linking and set permission. So we will use that for the demo today. Almost there. Yep. Okay, we shouldn't have the need of that anymore. Let's stay that open just for, we don't need that. Okay, we're good. Just to be sure, and because I've made some tests before, I will reset all the data. And to do that, just here and in the test tab, you have the skill testing is enabled in, and you have development. Just switch that back to off dev. That should be announced, but yeah, I like to do that twice. All right. my Fitbit sleep coach.
Welcome. I'm Matthew, your sleep coach. Before going any further, I will ask you to connect to your Fitbit account via the Alexa application on your smartphone. It's simple, secure, and you only have to do this once. Go ahead now and say, Alexa, launch my Fitbit sleep coach again when you are ready.
All right, so we may want actually to log out, I think, from just to show you the full account linking process, because if I am already logged in, you will just have the successful message saying that, okay, you're linked to the Fitbit account, to your Fitbit account. I want to show you the, sorry for the French here. Nope, I don't want to edit. I just want to log out. Here we go. All right. So yeah, don't be afraid. I'm not in need of too much sleep at night, so it can be weird. But I'm working on it, actually. That's also why I'm doing this kind of project. Because yeah, maybe 3 hours is not enough, for sure. Okay, so should be good to go. Let's go back to that one. Be sure that we have the last card right there. To a refresh, should be the one. And in the Alexa app, you should also have like a pop-up card or a card asking for you to link to the Fitbit account. It will open a new tab asking you to connect to your account. And you will have this. Okay, that's, yeah, I was thinking that maybe because I've already authorized the app, you should have like a screen in between asking for the scope. So if you do remember, scope are profile, sleep, and heart rate. So anyway, it's working there. You may have another in-between screen when you allow the skill to access to this specific scope you are using in the app. Anyway, we should be good to go. Let's go back to the skill and launch it again.
Welcome. I'm Matthew, your sleep coach. This is your first time, so I will explain to you in a little more detail how I analyze your sleep to give you the best advice. Thanks to your tracker and the data collected every night, I will be able to deduce a profile of your sleeping habits, and based on this profile, obtain information such as your wake-up time each day. According to your age, I will also optimize the amount of sleep necessary to keep in shape and prepare a personalized sleep routine. Are you ready to optimize your sleep?
So first we can see that we may not need this one. Because it's redundant with the first one, and the user will be launching the skill right after the first message. So regarding this conversation, this is something we may want to deal with. Again, not a big deal, just I'm seeing that. So, and then, yeah, we are in the onboarding stuff, saying what we are doing to do. Are you ready to optimize your sleep? Yes, I am.
Great. RK Bermejo Nicholas sounds very official. Yep. How do you want me to call you?
Sound very official indeed. So let's go for Nico.
Okay, Nico. Let's collect your first sleep tracking data and see how you can optimize that. Your recommended sleep goal is 6 hours and 45 minutes. At the moment, your typical sleep duration is 6 hours and 21 minutes with a wake-up time at 9:12. You may want to change your bedtime to 2:12. Your actual bedtime goal is set at 2:30 with a sleep goal of 6 hours, 45 minutes and a wake-up time at 9 o'clock.
So this is a good example on how we are handling the data from Fitbit to tweak that and optimize the current routine. So I'm testing that since a week right now, trying to change my bad habit of not sleeping too much. And my goal is 6 hours and 45 minutes regarding my profile, age, and stuff like that. But right now, I'm more at 6 and 21 minutes. So wake up time at 9:12. This is the real stuff here. It's not the time as I'm setting my alarm. It's the time I really wake up. So you may want to change your bedtime to 12. And my bedtime is set to 2:30. So I should want to go to bed earlier. That should help to like have a better sleeping habit, and wake up time at 9. So yeah, basically, if I'm going to bed 15 minutes or so earlier, I should wake up at 9 or so, pretty much. This is Andy. In my case, I have a watch, so this will help to wake up at the corresponding time with a silent alarm. But yeah, again, that's the first thing. Without any big data analytic, we are able to already having a kind of routine setup or coaching stuff right there. So yeah, that's can help some user here. So, and again, that's not a big part of the skill right now. It's basically only this code block and the first API call. Grabbing the goal. From that, we can grab all the information we need to do the message right there. All right. So no, and then if I say no, we should go to the debug stuff.
July 2nd, 2020.
Yeah, that's it. So that's the today date and some other message. So yeah, it may be a bit late to do the following, but what I'm going to do right there is first we need to if the user wants to update their goal within the app, we should be able to do that within the skill. So that's the goal. We are using the goal endpoint, but instead of using a get, we are using a post. What I've seen so far during my test is you can see that in the Swagger API. So that's not the get, that's the post. You should be able to only set mean duration, but actually I've made some tests and the API can also handle bedtime and wake up time. So that's very useful for us. I mean, the user, you may want to be able to change at least your bedtime, maybe not the wake up time, but it's a good thing that we are able to do that. But most importantly, it's the bedtime and the minimum duration of sleep you need. So regarding the test I've done and some API call made in Insomnia, this is working. So that's the next step, introduce that. within this project. And this part is just only to grab the last log or the last sleep. So again, that's the list. That's the one, I think. Yeah, list. So if we do, this is right there. If we grab that, that's why I was debugging this. If we grab that, sorry, just once. After, you don't need that. We need to store that descending, no offset, and we can limit that to the last 10, actually to the last 5, for example. The thing is here, you can see that you have like is main sleep. So FitBit will do the differentiation between like a nap or a sleep. So you may want to separate that within the skill. So for example, if I had a nap today, I may not want to have this information, but maybe it's better for me to have the last night sleep data instead. So this is not the case here, but this is something that we are handling in the, again, in the code block, trying to find if the last from the list, so the last with is main sleep equal true. So we are certain that we are getting the last real sleep, not the last nap. But again, it's up to you. You can also do both. So you can also choose to select only nap, for example. That can be a good update to the project. But right now I'm only targeting main sleep. You have a lot of detail. I'm not using that, but this is something you can use with, for example, the template we have already made, like quick chart, to do some chart from this information. There are a lot of interesting stuff to know about sleep, like you have kind of different stage of sleep, and this is what you can have right there: deep, light, wake up. So for example, the information we want right there is basically minute to sleep. So that's the summary. That's what I'm grabbing right now from all this information. Minute awake, asleep, and after wake up, and time in bed, basically. And from that, you can get some information, some sleep quality and stuff like that. All right, that should be, yeah, that should be it for the logic here. So this is what we are doing right now. So again, I will update that and share this with you. The good thing is you can also create an account on the FitBit website and manually add data. So you can, even if you don't have any device, or you can still create an account and manually add some test data if you want to do. The main part of it is, and that also that's also why I've take some time to explain that, but it was mostly regarding the account linking. Hopefully, this is something you will now be able to better understand. Again, this is an easy one. I mean, on the Voiceflow part, it's the user info. User info will grab the access token. If this block has no access to a token, it means that the user did not authorize yet. You send the account linking card with a message, and that's pretty much it. All this information are available on any website that do account linking or OAuth v2. This will be available in their documentation. That can be Shopify, that can be whatever, Deezer and stuff like that. So yeah, it's up to you to choose what services you want and what information you want to get from the user. Sometimes you just need to use account linking to authenticate the user, for example, with like a Facebook account or Google account or Alexa account. We do have in the learn.voiceflow.com, we already have an article on that, on the account linking with the Amazon login. So that will explain what I've done right there. It's just that Fitbit is more on the Fitbit demo was more on how to create and set up the app on the Fitbit end. But yeah, again, if you target Deezer or, I mean, it's not, it's, sorry, the other one. Okay, never mind. The other audio streaming stuff we have Deezer in France, but that's the way they are doing that. You need to create an app, and from that app you will have some information detail that you will need to populate the account linking block right there, settings right there. Let me just check right now quickly if we have some question in the chat. All right. We want to see your Fitbit, Nico. Like my data or my watch. That's a Versa too. It's okay. That's joke. So I mean, that means that hopefully you get everything I've said. That's cool. 212. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the case every day. Just to be clear on that, I'm not sleeping only 2 hours a day. Sometimes I need more time. So, for example, and that's also why I'm doing that. I can sleep like 3 days, only 2 hours or 3 hours, but at the same time on Sunday, for example, I can go to sleep at let's say 10 just to do a full recharge, and I will wake up at 9 in the morning. So yeah, it's kind of my body is used to that. It's just I don't want that anymore. It's easy for me to do that. I can still do that, but yeah, I don't want to do that anymore. So that's a good thing, and I think that will help me. We will talk about this project anyway, so we will have some more detail of how I'm doing, if I'm a good student or not. That makes sense. You want to go to yeah. Yep. Actually, they have a lot of things. Let's just finish on this. I know it sounds like personal stuff, but I mean, we are in Fitbit stuff right now, so let's talk about it a bit. I did choose the Versa 2 because I watch. I'm on Android. I had an Apple Watch because I was a Apple fanboy before. I've switched to Android, so I need a watch for that. And yeah, I wanted to change my sleep a bit, so I need a watch that I don't have to charge every day and can track my sleeping a bit. And also because I was thinking of doing a kind of account linking to share with you guys during a Fitbit. I have that in the back of my head. So that's the one that was easy to choose, basically. And is way less expensive than some other watch. Okay, any more question, detail on my life? Good info. Okay. Yeah, happy that's helped you. Again, do not hesitate if you have some more question, if you want me to do specific stuff. I do remember that we still have the trivia stuff to do. It's just that I had a lot of discussion about account linking. So and because I was thinking of doing this already like a week before, I say, okay, let's swap that and do the account linking on this week Fix It hour. Hopefully that you enjoy that. That's it for me. Emily, do you have anything to say? Or...
No, thanks so much, guys. Be on the lookout. We're gonna start to post these in a series available on our blog as walkthroughs. So we're gonna be posting some transcripts of this, make it a little bit easier for you guys to kind of jump back and forth in between different sessions that Nico's done, and he's done a ton. And this will be available for streaming on our YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. So we'll post that up shortly.
Okay, again, thanks for being here and sharing with us. Don't know yet what will be the main project last week. I will share some information about how the random trivia is going with some update for that. And let us know, guys, if you want. Maybe we can share some project, even if they are not already finished. We have a Voiceflow community workspace. So if that makes sense for you, I will not publish non-finished project on the marketplace, but I can do that on the Voiceflow community workspace under like a work in progress section. That's it. Talk to you next week or